Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. Ameen ya rabbal alameen. So here we are with the session number 3 for Surah As-Sajdah, and we have alhamdulillah attempted first 5 ayat of the surah in the last session. We still have to go back to some of the ayat, the parts of the ayat, and we can still reconnect whatever we have covered so far. But before we do so, let's see what we have today. Inshallah, were you all able to access the Google Doc that I've shared with you? And my apologies for sending you that Google Doc late, but I hope you were all able to open it up and were able to fill in some of the things. Even if you do not receive Google Doc on time, it is expected that you can just always start doing the ayat, start attempting analyzing on your Musaf, and then you can transfer whatever you have attempted to the Google Doc so that you can share it with us at the end of the or at the completion of the surah. So we were discussing ayah number 5. We were able to attempt its word to word. We were able to attempt how words were interconnected. And now there was a question in the last session that could this yudabbirul amra minas samai, another khabar for lafzul jalala. And what we have decided about that the first khabar for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was that he is the one, he created the skies and the earth, and what is in between them two in 6 days. Then he arose to the arsh. And then can yudabbiru be connected to whatever has been mentioned before as a second khabar for lafzul jalala? What do you think? Right, you can call it khabar thanin for lafzul jalala. If you connect it as khabar for the first one for lafzul jalala, what will be the status of this khabar? It is fi mahalli raf'in. Very well done. And if you have called it fi mahalli raf'in, I am sure that you must have understood the status of this sentence that is connected to yudabbiru is also going to be fi mahalli raf'in, right? In here, when we talked about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahu allazi khalaqa as-samawati wal arda wa ma baynahuma fi sittati ayyamin thumma istawa 'ala al-'arsh. Ma lakum min dunihim min waliyyun wala shafi'. In here, this sentence, is there any way you can connect this sentence to whatever has been mentioned before? And this is for intermediate grammar, as this session is khasul khas for intermediate. So I would like you to attempt and see how you can connect this sentence to whatever has been mentioned before. Or we may have covered it before and I may have forgotten about it. So is there any way you can connect malakum min dunihim? There is no other wali or intercessor besides him. So who's sifa? Is there any commonism before it? Or is because for a sifa, since we just covered our complex sifa and we have taken our test on that as well, do we find any commonism before it that it can be attached to as its sifa? What do you think? No. So when you do not have anything common, so sister Dilruba is looking at it as a Toradiya, and so is Husni Ara and Sister Rabia. That you want to label it as a Torad, as in between, as it is coming between two akhbar. Yeah, that is one way to think about it. That can be one of the ways that you can think about it. Is there any other way? Something very easy that you may have done it very many times in your basic groups when you were learning your basic two. Can it be khabar two? Yeah, that can be Allahu ma lakum min dunihi min waliyyun wala shafi. It does have it, yeah, and then there is hal. So yes, so see here, yeah, it can be considered, there is, grammatically, it can be treated as a khabar, but just look at it. Summastawa ala al-arshi ma lakum min dunihi min waliyyin wala shafi. Yes, you can label it as a hal as well. Yes, absolutely. You can call this sentence, and that is the easiest way that you can label this jumla as jumla haliya. And if you label it as jumla haliya, how will you define its status? Yes, it's going to be fi mahalli nasbin. And he arose to the earth in the state that and whatever is happening when he's creating the skies and the earth, and what is in between them two in the 6 days, and then when he arose to earth, he is in the condition, he's always in the state where you will not find besides him any protector and nor any intercessor. Is that correct about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are we understanding the role of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as it is? Saima Sheikh is asking that who is going to be Sahibul Hal? Who is being discussed in the previous ayahs? Who can be our Sahibul Hal here? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to be our sahibul hal, and this is going to be the state of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This sentence can be a hal for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he is the one, he is creating the skies and the earth and whatever is in between them two in 6 days, and then he arose to the earth in a state where you will not find for yourself besides him any protector nor any intercessor, right? So I hope this is clear to each and every one of you, and you are all ready to begin ayah number 6. Is that right? Can we move on to ayah number 6? Are we all good? Now that we have covered, we have gone back, and we keep on doing this. We will keep on doing this, okay? We will keep on, because just to bring things slowly and to introduce things slowly, it's very important to keep on going back and forth, okay? You do have ayat in the sentence. Malakum min duni he is there, right? He is there. That qualifies this statement as you are finding an ayat in the sentence that goes back to lafzul jalala, right? Besides him is referring to lafzul jalala, right? It is going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Amin wajaki. So now this ayah number 6, when you look at it, ذَلِكَ عَالِمُ الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. So it's very easy sentence, right? Everyone is should be aware of that, right? So you have a sentence where you have zalika alimul ghaibi, a very simple jumla ismiya, right? So zalika is going to be labeled as mubtada, and sisters are coming up as akhbar as well. So how many akhbar are there in the sentence? Is there one khabar? The type of khabar is mufradism, right? It's just, one ism. There are three akhbar in here. Awwal is alimul ghaibi, right? And then ash-shahadati, how is it connected to ghaib? How is it connected to ghaib? Through atf. And if I asked you what is making ash-shahadati jar, everyone must know that it is majroor bil atf, right? This al-ghaibi is majroor bil idafa. There are no four khabars. There is only three khabars. Alimu is one, Al-Aziz is second, and Ar-Rahim is third khabar. Right? There are three akhbar in this Jumla Ismiya. Alimu number one, Al-Aziz number two, Ar-Rahim number three, Alimul Ghaibi. Alimu is not only khabar, it is also mudaf, and its mudaf ilayhi is Al-Ghaibi. Ash-Shahadati is majroor bil atf, and Al-Aziz khabar thanin, and Ar-Rahim khabar salis. Everyone with me so far? Alhamdulillah, no confusion about this one, right? So Allah is the one, now He is the one who is being described as the knower of the unseen and that which is present, and He is Al-Aziz, the Almighty, the victorious, the most honorable, and Ar-Rahim, the one with utmost mercy, whose mercy has no bounds, no beginning, no end, and it is ever, He's ever, ever merciful, right? And then you go on to learn another thing about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But before I take you to ayah number 7, I would like you to tell me about this calf. What is the type of calf here? What is this calf called? First of all, give me the name of this calf now that you have, you know, been labeled as intermediate students. So in at least you should know that this is kaful khitab, and my students have already typed here the answer that this is a harf. Very good job. So this kaful khitab is harf here. So what makes you think, Arham and sister Dilruba, that this is going to be a harf here? Why not, kaful khitab? Why not call it an ism? What makes it qualified as harf khitab? Why do we call it harf khitab? What is the condition there that is making you, that you have learned that now you are going to call it harf khitab? Because it is coming, it is harf la mahalla laha min al-i'rab, because it is coming with ism ishara. Whenever you find your kafil khitab, whenever you the answer, the correct answer is, whenever my kaful khitab is attached to ism ishara, it is going to be harf khitab. Zalikum, zalikuma, tilka, tilkum, tilkuma. Every time you have your kaful khitab in your ism ishara, with your ism ishara, it is no longer treated as an ism, it is treated as a harf. Is this clear to all of you? Right? How you are going to answer it in the test, that why do we call this harf hitab? Because this is attached to ism ishara. The reason here it is going to be labeled as harf hitab because it is attached to ism ishara. That is the answer, right? Inshallah. Okay, now the rest is easy for all of you. So I will move on to ayah number 7 now. Allazi ahsana kulla shay'in khalaqahu. So in here, allazi, when you have allazi, what is going to be now this word, is it, is this allazi, how will you treat it? It is an ism mawsool. It is an ism mawsool along with its silatul mawsool, and the sila that you have in here is, what type of a sila you have? You have ism mawsool followed by a sila, and the sila in here is jumla fi'liya. And jumla fi'liya, when you look at the fail, what type of fail do you have? It's going to be either fail madin or mudare. In here we find fail madin, wal fa'il damir mustatir huwa. The pronoun in here is hidden pronoun, and kulla shay'in is going to be labeled as he has perfected everything. Kulla is going to be mafulun bihi, and shay'in is its mudaf ilayhi, right? They are making an idafa, right? Very good job. And in here, what is when it comes to your fail madin, in terms of the ending of fail madin, what have we learned? Every fail madin, when it comes to every fail madin, what is its ending like? It is ending with fatatu zahira, but what is it? Mabni alal fatha. Very good job. That's the correct answer. Every fi'l madin is going to be in the huwa form. In every fi'l madin in huwa form is going to be mabni alal fatha. Can it be always fatatu zahira, or it's going to be sometimes fatatul muqaddara? What do you think? Is fatha always zahira? It can have fatatul muqaddara in case of alif. If your fail is going to end with alif, it's going to have al fatatul muqaddara, right? Is every fail madin always non-flexible with fatah? What do you think? I'm talking about the whole table. No, very good job. So, what are the other cases? What is it mabni with? Just think about it. There are how many ways your fail madin is going to be non-flexible. It's going to be non-flexible with sukoon. It can be non-flexible with dhamma as well. Very good job. From hunna till nahnu, what is it non-flexible with? From hunna till nahnu, it's going to be non-flexible with a sukoon. From when it is with vowel jama'a, it is non-flexible with dhamma, right? It is non-flexible with dhamma. Is this easy enough to understand? Or are we doing it to, are we complicating things a lot? Alhamdulillah, everyone got it. Alhamdulillah. So now this, when it comes to this allazi, is this talking about the same entity? Now you want to label it as sifa for who? Sifa for who? Allahu? Is there any other way? So some are calling it a sifa for what sifa for give me a mawsuf for it. Give me a mawsuf for it. So it is not sifa. So okay, so sifa for al-aziz. So some are saying that it is a sifa for al-aziz. Um, So Fashabi and Umayarham are saying that this is khabar number 4, and so is my sister Shamim and Abdul Mannan. They are saying that this is khabar number 4, and it is, I think it is more appropriate to call it khabar number 4. How about, call it khabar number 4? He is the alim of ghaib and shahada, and he is Al-Aziz, Ar-Rahim, the one who has perfected everything. Does it make sense that we can make it another khabar for this sentence, right? Right? Instead of calling it ar-Rahim, because yes, it is out of his mercy that he has perfected everything. The one who is most merciful, that is the description from him, that he will perfect everything. It is out of his utmost mercy that he is going to be perfecting everything. It is from his power, it is from the power of most victorious that he is going to perfect everything. But still, if you grammatically, if you label it as khabar, it's going to be more accurate. Okay. And in that case, it's going to be, in that case, it is going to be, what is the status of ism mawsul in here then? It's going to be fi mahalli raf'in, right? So, and then there is another choice. So there is another, someone is also, so you are saying we cannot connect it to lafzul jalala, that it can be another khabar for Allahu lazi khalaqa samawati, allazi khalaqa samawati, and then another khabar yudabbirul amra, and then this as another khabar. That's what you're saying, Sister Sajida? That you want to make it an other khabar for lafzul jalala itself? Will it make sense? And then I think in between we cannot connect to lafzul jalala. Okay, so let's see here. Irab of previous sentence will be etradiya zalika. So Sister Umayarham wants to make it etrad. That's what Sister Umayarham you are thinking? Ayah 6 will be jumla etradiya between between akhbar. If we are going to make it, if we make this allazi, we make this allazi another khabar for zalika, that then zalika alim al-ghaibi wa shahadati al-azizi al-rahimi, then zalika is not, then jumla 6 will be jumla itradiya. Then this allazi khabar number 4 for the first one. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for lafzul jalala, for the name of Allah, right? That's what you are wanting to do it. This way you want to connect it to the rest of the of what we are saying here. Yeah, there are different ways. Yes, you can, you can connect it to lafzul jalala. So can I want to ask, can I level it sifa of lafzul jalala? This this allazi khalaqa ahsana, this one. Yes, so for this lafzul jalala is here, Allahu is here. I don't think that's going to be yeah, right to to connect it with lafzul jalala as such, right? You have lafzul jalala as mubtada, and then you have a khabar. You do not take ayah number 7 and connect it to ayah number 4 ayahs. Generally, that's not something how you do things. Now, you can make it another khabar for lafzul jalala, as we have made allazi as first khabar. Then we said that the birul amra is another khabar, and you might as well say this is another khabar, and or you if you want to keep it as such, and then you can make this one as a khabar for lafzul jalala. But you cannot make this allazi and connect it to lafzul jalala in ayah number 4 as its sifa. It's not usually that's going to be how things are going to work. Does it make sense, Sister Sajida? Grammatic, it is description of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but grammatically there is something called understanding, and then there is something called grammatical rulings. So there is sometimes you will find some overlap, but sometimes there may not be there are things that you might find them as hal or as something else or as sifa, but it may not be correct. It's not grammatically correct to call them what you are thinking you want to call them. Does it make sense? I will not call it a badal. I will not call it a badal. I can just, because this is a jumla ismiya. If you have jumla ismiya like this, ذَلِكَ عَلِمُ الْغَيْبِ وَشَهَادَةِ al-Aziz, this is another, it's giving you, another information about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alimul ghaibi, if you are making it, how making it as a badal for alim, the knower of the unseen, and a shahada, it's giving you another bit of information. You know, not contextually, neither contextually nor grammatically, it's going to be correct to call it a badal. It's more, easier way, or it is more grammatically correct to call it, to label it as a khabar. But how you want to connect it, you can call it the khabar of lafzul jalala, or you can call it, khabar number, rabi for this zalika as well. Does it make sense? Is this clear to all of you? That you do not take a mubtada here, and it's not going to happen that in here I'm from one from the 10 ayahs down, I'm going to find a khabar a sifa for my for my mubtada. No, it's not going to work like that. It's called over complicating things. Like sometimes things are very oversimplified to just so that students know, and they're are all on the same page. And but this is going to be overcomplicate, making things overcomplicated. Just try to do things in a way. I have a lafzul jalala, and I'm learning about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how he does things. First khabar, allazi, right? Then you have another khabar, yudabbirul amra. Then, if you want to label Zalika, Alimul Ghaibi wa Shahadatil Al Azizul Rahim, you can label it as another khabar. That will make sense as well. And then you can take this one as a khabar for another khabar for Lafzul Jalala. Or you can say that this Zalika, Alimul Ghaibi wa Shahadati, this you can make it khabar for another khabar for Zalika as well. How many of you are with me? And you please make sure, feel free to defer. Feel free to defer, and that is how we learn in class. Okay, there is no the problem if you do not agree with what I'm telling you, because there are many different scholars, and you will find different i'rab of one word in different books. So that's totally fine. If you are if you this whole sentence is khabar, if it is the khabar, if you treat this one zalika alimul ghaibi wa shahadati al azizul rahim, and you just keep it as such, don't touch it, and you make allazi as a khabar for lafzul jalala, then there is a way you can treat this sentence, and that is how, that you can call this sentence jumla etradiya, which is inserted in between sentences that are grammatically connected, right? In between that is found in between grammatically related structures, not sentences but grammatically related structures. Because if we treat alazi as another khabar for lafzul jalala, how many of you understood this? That if we take it, we keep it as a separate sentence, then this separate sentence can be treated as jumla etoradiya, which is, we are not going to, touch it. We are going to just, whatever is said in here, we keep it in one bucket, and we just say that alazi is another khabar for lafzul jalala, just as, the first khabar was alazi, second we found yudabbiru, third we found alazi, another alazi is the khabar. However, however, if you want to treat this whole sentence as the khabar, in that case, if you don't treat it as grammatically unrelated to what has been said before, you want to connect it to lafzul jalala as well, and you some treat it as khabar, then it is going to be fi mahali raf'in. If it is etorad, what will be the status? If it is treated as interjectory sentence, it is going to have no i'rab. However, if it is treated as khabar for lafzul jalala, it is going to be fi mahali rafin, right? Also notice, you will find it in books, and you will find it in books as istinaf. You will find it in books as istinaf, bayani, an answer to a question that is, that has not been mentioned, but it's assumed. And if it is understood as istinaf, in that case, what will be the status of this highlighted portion? ذَلِكَ عَلِمُ الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. It is going to be again لَا مَحَلَّ لَهَا مِنَ الْإِعْرَابِ. Okay? Is this understood? Is this, did you get my point? That there are different ways. There is a difference in how sometimes, you are going to find Arab, but ask yourself, does it do justice to whatever I've learned? Am I applying whatever I have learned in my different classes, 1000 classes that I've been part of? Am I applying my information correctly? Just ask yourself that question. If you are, then, and if it grammatically makes sense, you can treat it that way. And sometimes there are two answers to for one ayah, because Quran again did not, neither did it come with tafsir, nor did it come with Arab, right? So that different people may think at the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in different ways, and they ponder upon those ayat. If there was already everything there, would you be asked, or to do any tadabbur? Will there any need left for tadabbur in that case? No, there is no need for that. People are, left without it, so that they work on it and understand everything on their own and apply it as well. Okay, now you have allazi ahsana kulla shay'in. You already have done it. Shay'in khalaqahu. In this here, there is another sentence that you have found, right? Khalaqahu. What type of sentence are you looking at? When you see khalaqahu, it is jumlatul fi'liya, fi'l madin, wal fa'il, damir mustatir hua, and who in here is going to be mafulun bihi. Everyone got it? If I ask you, how will you connect this together? Is there any way they can be connected? There is a sifa. Now you have understood that this one can be a sifa. We will never ever randomly say anything, because if you are labeling a sentence as a sifa, you have to have a common ism before that sentence, right? You all understand this? For a sentence to be sifa of an ism, the ism must be common, right? And the sentence should have, there are one or two occasions where it won't have, it should have a pronoun that goes back to common ism, right? So in here you find who, that is going back to shay'in, right? You found it, and now this sentence is going to have a status. What is the status of khalaqahu? which is coming up as a sifa of, it is going to be fi mahalli jar. Fi mahalli jarin, because it is a sentence. So it is, this is how you're going to connect everything. So how many of you are with me in understanding how you are going to call? You cannot label a sifa unless you do, a sentence is going to be labeled as sifa only if found after ism, that is nakira, and you also have to have an ayat. There are one or few very few occasions when ayat is not there, but it has been understood from the context, right? Is this clear? Okay, now everyone is able, and this is all going to stay together, right? To get this is all going to stay together. You all understand it like that? That because this is all, going to stay together, right? Because halaqahu is connected to shayin as its sifa, so everything is going to remain together. And then comes another sentence, wa bada'a. Wow is going to be treated as atf. You are calling, if a shabi has labeled it as atf, bada'a is going to be fail madin, wal fa'il damir mustatir huwa, right? And this is jumla failure. Khalaqal insan, khalqal insan, sorry, not khalaqa, khalqal insani, he started creation of the man min tin, from wet clay, right? So this is khalq is going to be mafulun bihi, right? And al insan is going to be majroor bil idafa, and min teen jar wal majroor will become your mbf. You want to label it as mbf? So okay, so yes, okay, very good job. So then uh, he started the creation of the man min teen. How did he start? From the clay, so it can be hal mahzuf as well. How do you feel about calling it a hal mahzuf? Can it be? Yeah, if you are how he created, so it is answering your how question. So it can be, if you found it labeled as hal mahzuf, that's totally fine. Mutalik bi hal mahzufa is going to be also correct for this one, since it is answering your it's answering your how question as well. Okay. So if you are treating from what, or how he started the creation of the think about this one. He started, or he initiated the creation of the human being from clay. So see for yourself. It is what makes more sense. What makes more sense? Hal makes more sense. How did he started? How did he initiate it, right? And then Sister Rahat is also mentioning that this jar wal majroor is coming after a proper ism, and that's also something that is to be kept in mind, that if you find an ism, and then that's a proper ism, and there's a jar wal majroor after it, you may find it, you will find that it's going to be the jar wal majroor can be labeled as mutalik bi hal mahzufa as well. That's another way to look at things. Okay. And but for a basic student, if you see, if you have understood that your hal is going to be of three types, you must know that hal can be mufradism, it can be jumla, it can be shubu jumla. And what is shubu jumla? Can anyone remind me what is shubu jumla that we have been talking about? Jar wal majroor, is that only? And zarf, both zarf and jar wal majroor, right? So anytime when you have jar wal majroor, if you look at it, and if it is answering your how question, you can label it as muta'alliq bi hal mahzufa. Okay, muta'alliq bi hal mahzufa. You can, or you can just label it as hal. That is fair enough too. Okay, you can just label it as hal 2 if that is too hard to understand or to to commit to memory. If it is too Arabic, too much Arabic and it involves too many Arabic words, then you can just keep it like that. Now, if I ask you what is the status of this sentence, matuf, it is matuf. So what will be the status of this sentence? Look at the so so there are many okay, okay, very good job. So I have here jar, I have here um rafa, I have here I think nasb is also there. No, rafa, I have nasb, I have rafa, nasab, jar. All four statuses are there. And then there is la mahalla laha min al i'rab as well. So what do you think? What do you think will be more appropriate? What do you think? So, for example, let me just ask you like this. So, what is going to be matuf of bada'a for those of you who think that it is la mahalla? What is matuf alayhi for bada'a? What is matuf alayhi for bada'a? Ahsana, right? Ahsana, which is, for those of you, he perfected everything and he initiated the creation of human being from the clay, right? That is how you are going to connect it to whatever has been mentioned before, right? Is this how you connected it, right? So he perfected everything and he initiated the creation of the human being from the clay. For those of you who are connecting it to khalaqahu, I think who are saying that this is fi mahalli jarrin, probably have connected it to khalaqahu, right? You connected it to previously khalaqahu, and that is why you thought that, he created it and he initiated the creation of the human being from the teen. But which one do you think you all agree to? Should it be La Mahalla? Do you want to connect it to Ahsana, or do you want to connect it to Halaqahu? You want to connect it to Ahsana. Ahsana does not have any status. So, therefore, Bada'a, if you connect it to Ahsana, it is going to, he perfected everything that he created. And he initiated the creation of human being from the teen. So this is going to be, so everyone is agreeing that they want to connect it to Silatul Mawsul, and they want to label it as La Mahalla Laha Min Al I'rab, right? Now there is no um, difference of opinion in Ummah. I hope everyone got it. No problems there, no confusion there, that he perfected everything that he created, and he initiated the creation of the human being from the clay. Summa ja'ala naslahu min sulalatin. So then comes your sentence that is beginning with harf at summa. Very good job. What will be the i'rab of summa? It is la mahalla laha min al i'rab. Is there anything that also, what do we do with summa? What is the benefit of using summa as harf atf? Tarahi, takhir. Okay, that's what you're saying, right? There's a lot of Karachi tartib. There's a lot of typos here. So there is a sequence. It shows a sequence with a delay, right? It shows the sequence of an events with a delay, isn't it? Tarahi, tartib with tarahi. That is how you have learned summa. What is another harf that can show you tartib that you have covered, but it does not have any latency or tarahi? Fa, very good job, very well done. So fa is another harf that shows us the tartib of events, that first this happened, then this happened, and but however there is in fa you do not find tarahi, you only find sequence of events. But in summa there is a delay there, and delay in or latency is in Arabic is labeled as or called tarahi, right? Ta, ra, alif, kha, ya, right? So then comes ja'ala. There is another sentence that has come. So how will you label this sentence? This is fail madin. Jumla failya fail madin wal fa'il damir mustatir hua, right? And then naslahu. Naslahu is going to be labeled as mafulun bihi for ja'ala, right? And who is mudaf ilayhi, there is an idafa, who you will label as mudaf ilayhi. Min sulalatin is going to be labeled as jar wal majroor, right? Jar wal majroor. And sulalatin min ma'in mahin. Min sulalatin min ma'in, let's just do this one first. So this is your jar wal majroor, and you are all labeling it as sifa because it is a common ism followed by jarwal majroor, and this can be your sifa for sulalatin, right? Ma'im mahin, uh, if you have to connect these two words together, disdained fluid or disdained liquid, they are mawsoof for sifa, right? But mimma immahin is making a complex sifa for sulalatin, and sulalatin you can see is a commonism. After for a shibu jumla to be a sifa or for a sentence to be a sifa, mawsoof has to meet one requirement, and the requirement is that mawsoof must be nakira. Very good job. It has to be nakira, right? It has to be common for it to have a sifa, which is jar wal majroor or a sentence, right? And you just have covered your this topic in Alhamdulillah in your intensive, and you have taken your test as well on this topic. So min sulalatin, how will you cover min sulalatin? How many types of ja'ala have we covered? I have taught you ja'ala. So in Quran you find two, but as whole we have covered the ja'ala can be of three types, right? Ja'ala can be of three types. One is ja'ala bimani halaqa, khalaqa. One is ja'ala bimani hawala, to change or to transform one thing into another, right? One is in the meaning of bada'a, to start something, to initiate something, right? So this one, this ja'ala, what is the type of ja'ala? Are we seeing transformation? Are we seeing the meaning of starting? Or are we seeing here to create meaning? Think about it. Is it khalaqa? So I'm seeing to create, and then there is in one answer where it is to transform. I think, if I'm not mistaken, tahwil. One is tahwil, like something got into change into something. Nasl came from sulalatin. Sulalatin has given rise to a nasl, something like that, right? So which one do you think you want to go with among the three types that I have covered with you? Which one do you want to label it as? It is tahwil, khalq, or sharu. Which one? Tahwil. So there was something, and that got changed into progeny, right? So I will also go with the type where there is transformation. If it is a verb of transformation, which group of af'al does it belong to? Dhanna wa akhawatuha. Zanna wa akhawatuha. Is that correct? That if ja'ala is from the verb of transformation, it is going to be labeled as to be from the group of zanna wa akhawatuha. And this one is going to be mafulun bihi awwal, and this min sulalatin can be mafulun muta'alliq bi mafulun bihi sanin mahzuf, right? Muta'alliq bi mahzuf mafulun bihi sanin, right? Is this clear? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on to say, Summa sawahu. Then he proportioned him. So this is going to be another harf atf. Summa is going to be another harf atf, and there is a jumla tu ma'tufa, or a sentence which is labeled as jumla ma'tufatun after it. And this jumla ma'tufa is what type of a sentence? Give me the type of sentence. Sawahu is jumla failure. What type of fail? Fail madin, mudare. It is fail madin with damir mustatir hua. And this fail madin again is non-flexible, right? It is again non-flexible. With which haraka? When we have alif at the end, how will we label it? It is going to be non-flexible with fatatul muqaddara. Fatatul muqaddara. Now it's going to be fatatul muqaddara alal alif. And who in here is going to be labeled as mufulun bihi. And the status of this who is going to be nasb, because it is a detail in here. And then another thing is fail has a file which is the mir mustatir hua that you already told me, and then comes your another sentence that is connected through wow. And how do you want to label this wow? It is harf atf. Nafakha is going to be labeled as fail madin, and again the mir mustatir hua is the pronoun. Fihi is going to be jar wal majroor. Mir ruhi is going to be jar wal majroor, and they are going to be labeled as muta'alliq bil fail, right? Is that right? Everyone agrees? Okay, then comes the last, not the last, but very close to the last, because I want you to be completing this concept today here. وَجَعَلَ لَكُمُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ وَالْأَفْئِدَةَ. Now see, wow is harf atf. Another Ja'ala has come, and he created for you all the hearing and the vision and the hearts. Right? So Ja'ala, is this tahweel, or is it shuru, or is it halq? Literal creation. It is in the meaning of khalaqa. He created for you all a sam'a, the hearing and the vision and the hearts. Is this clear to all of you how this is going to be treated as khalaqa in here, right? And lakum jar wal majrur muta'alliq bil fail. Unlike this min sulalatin that was treated as muta'alliq bi mafulun bihi sanin, this lakum is going to be jar wal majrur muta'alliq bil fail ja'ala, and as-sama'a mafulun bihi. Wal absara matuf one, and al afidata is going to be mafulun bihi, is going to be matuf, sorry. It is going to be matuf number 2. Okay? Matuf 2. Very good job. Lakum cannot be who. Lakum is jar wal majroor muta'alliq bil fi'l ja'ala, which is ja'ala bimani khalaqa. Because this is bimani khalaqa, you are going to label lakum as muta'alliq bil fi'l. If it was bimani hawala, then you will label it as otherwise. But in here, this is going to be labeled as muta'alliq bil fi'l ja'ala, because this has come up in Suratul Mulk as well. And you will see that some of the Arab books have treated this ja'ala as this ja'ala. But let me just tell you, for you all is the hearing and the vision and the hearts. But in here, do you have, you all have been changed into hearing and the vision and the hearts? Do you get this meaning from the context? Is that giving, is it giving you the same understanding? Is there something, for those of you who have studied embryology, they do come from ectoderm. Two of them come from ectoderm and one of them come from mesoderm. But the thing is, in here, does not imply that you have been changed into hearing and the vision and the afida, right? It is just create here. The context is simply, it's not, the context tells you it, he created for you all the hearing and the vision and the hearts. Look at the meaning, and if you have read through the document as well, see here, and he made for you hearing, vision, and hearts. The other one that was there, he made his posterity out of extract of liquid soul, liquid disdained, out of a liquid disdained. So this one. So this one, see here how it has been, that something has been changed into something else, right? But in here, you do not have the same context. The context, the ja'ala that has is not used with the same context. It is just creation, is used in the meaning of creation. How many of you are understanding this कि किसी चीज की तख्लीक के मानों में इस्तेमाल किया गया है उसे, किसी चीज को किसी चीज से बदल कर मानों में इस्तेमाल नहीं किया कि एक चीज को किसी दूसरी चीज में बदल दिया, ऐसा नहीं है। पहले वाले में आपको ये मिलेगा कि समथिंग गॉट चेंज इनटू समथिंग एल्स, ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड इनटू समथिंग एल्स, कन्वर्टेड इनटू समथिंग एल्स। बट हियर Allah is just wanting you to know that He created for you all the hearing, the vision, and the hearts, right? So, two types of Ja'ala that are there have been present in this ayah, and just enjoy them as such and see how it is going to be understood, and you are based on your understanding. So so there was a question I just had from a sister, that is learning grammar important? How is learning grammar important? So for those, nothing can be important for, if you think that you do not have to know where one word is enunciated from, that is up to you. What you think is important, you work on that, right? But this is how far you want to go in the studies of Quran. It's individual journey, right? So remember that. So now you know that one, there's a there's not in the same ayah we found this ja'ala, we found in two different ayahs. However, in two different ayahs, ja'ala has been used with a different type. One is bimani tahwil, the first one, and the second one is bimani khalq, right? Keep in mind, right? So now when it comes to the very end of the ayah, this question, because this part we have to complete it, though I wanted to go over the test review with you, so that we can all understand where we have made a mistake and what mistake not to make in future. But I will spend the last 5 minutes on completing this ayah. So, qalilam ma tashkurun. How do you translate this? How will you translate it? What type of a sentence? Okay, let's just start with the type of sentence. What type of a sentence are we looking at? We are seeing jumla failure. And here, fail is fail mudare, right? Tashkurun fail mudare. Alamatul mudare is the rough status. It is mudare in rough status. Noon is going to be sign of rough status. Wow in here is your pronoun. Damir muttasil baris, right? Damir muttasil baris, and it is rough in status. Then comes qalilan. Qalilan. What is this qalilan referring to? Not here. Sister Larib, in Quran, you will not find ja'ala, which is from afalu shuru. If it was from afalu shuru, what will you find after ja'ala, my dear students? If ja'ala was from afalu shuru, its khabar is jumla failure. It is from kada wa akhwatuha. There is no mudare following ja'ala. There is no mudare following ja'ala. So this is not ja'ala bimani bada'a. Okay, if it was ja'ala bimani bada'a, its khabar is going to be jumla failure fail mudare. Can this bada is also from felu sharu, but can I treat this bada'a as felu sharu that belongs to kada wa akhwatuha? Can I call this bada'a as felu sharu? Why not, my dear students? So smart, very good answers. No, because again its khabar is also, if it was from fail nakis, if it was nakis, its khabar would be fail mudare, no mudare after it, right? So it is also again not treated as fail sharu, fail naqis. No, I'm just going to label it as fail tam, and it's damir mustatir huwa is its file, not ismu bada, right? Similarly, ja'ala, the pronoun is going to be file for ja'ala. The first ja'ala, it's going to be file for second ja'ala. If there was ja'ala followed by fail mudare, which is not found in Quran, then you label ja'ala as felu sharu bimani bada'a, or bimani shara'a, or bimani tafiqa, right? But in here we don't find ja'ala followed by fail mudare, so we do not go to the third type of ja'ala. Only two types of ja'ala you will find in Quran. So qalilan is going to be, now we were talking about qalilan, is going to be, Sister Dilruba is calling this as mutlaq. Mutlaq, right? Is that right? And did I? So naib anil mutlaq, naib anil mafulul mutlaq. Very good job. So what was, if it was not naib, what was original form? So Sister Rahat is saying shukran qalilan. It is meant to be shukran qalilan, but that is, shukran is missing, so that is why we are going to label it as naib. It is going to be label maful mutlaq naib anil masdar shukran, right? This is how usually you are going to label it as, and you have naib anil maful mutlaq, and there are nine types of that you can see. But here, this is shukran, is a sifa, is sifa is coming up as naib anil maful mutlaq. Is this clear? Sifa is coming as naib, is taking a substitute, is coming up as substitute. Now comes the type of ma that you are looking at in this ayah. This ayah has this ma, that is the only part that is left. So how do you want to label this ma? Because it's going to change everything. So sisters, Dilruba is saying it is Zaida. It is Zaida, and it is going to be, it cannot be, can it be ta'ajjubiyya? Can it be ta'ajjubiyya? If it was ma at ta'ajjubiyya, what is the problem? Why is it not ta'ajjubiyya? Sister Umair, you immediately write no. And you are, Sister Rabia, you are saying muhmila. Oh my God, no, not at all. And some are saying nafiya. Absolutely wrong answer. So ta'ajjubiya is going to be found with fe'lu ta'ajjub. With fe'lu ta'ajjub, you will find this ma ta'ajjubiya with fe'lu ta'ajjub, ma af'ala. Ma af'ala. Is this ma af'ala construction? No, it's not. So it's not that. Then Sister Arham is saying that it can be ma al ibhamiya. Okay, so ma al ibhamiya come as a sifa of a commonism and increase it in vagueness. Is it doing that job here? Do you think it is making it more vague? In contextually, now you have to use your brain cells, you have to use your neurons here. No, it's is it making Khalil more vague, or is it emphasizing the smallness? Is it emphasizing the smallness? And if you go back, I have for you all what we have covered in our sessions. So if it was ma alibhamiya, which is an ism, बहुत ही थोड़ा, अब अगर आप इसे बहुत ही थोड़ा कह रहे हैं तो अब जब देखिए आप जरा, उसने कलील को वेग नहीं किया, वो वेग कर रहा है उसे, वो कॉमन कर रहा है। इज इट मेकिंग कलील मोर कॉमन, और इज इट जस्ट emphasizing emphasizing the smallness? What do you think? This is, the wrong slide. I have to bring in the right slide. Just give me a second. What is it doing? This one. It is Ma Zaida Ghair Kafa Li Tokid. Just, learn the grammar and then apply what you have learned based on the context. Qalilam ma yu'minun. So here, isn't not just emphasizing what is, how very little it is. It's not making anism more vague. It is not making sugar vague. It is not making like any type of sugar. No, it's the context, there may, Qalilan itself is a sifa for shukran, right? So, if you will call, and there can be a sifa for a sifa, I really usually don't see that, but here you will, how I will, and they both are found in grammar books. Both ways, ma can be treated as lit tahqir. You will found lit tahqir as well there. Okay, but how I will like to do it is personally how will I will treat this ma is I will call it ma zaida ghair kafa litokid. Does it make sense? And we can talk more about it in the upcoming session. Where because I still have another session that I have to take. So subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.